I want to make my own Balenciaga video, but I don't want to pay to use Midjourney.
Stable Diffusion, dear brother. It's free and easy to install.
Are you ready for your next mission, Agent? We're going to make our own free Balenciaga video with Stable Diffusion. Okay, Agent. The first step is to Google Automatic 1111 WebUI on Github. This is the page. Scroll past the spooky documentation notes and to the installation instructions for Windows. You can see it is laid out into 4 simple steps, the first being to install Python 3, 10.6. Let's do that. Now scroll down the page until you find the version we are looking for. Remember, 3, 10.6. I am assuming you're not a caveman and are using a 64-bit system, so click that link. Follow the installation instructions, but remember to check the box that says Add to Path. This is very important and not enabled by default. Next, we will need to install Git. This is what we will be using to install the files onto your computer. Still with me, Agent? Remember, Windows 64-bit unless you are running a different system. Now, we need to make a folder for you to install the Automatic 1111 WebUI into. You can name this however you please and place it wherever you want, preferably somewhere with lots of storage space. Now, we are going to use Git to pull the files from GitHub onto your computer. Right-click anywhere in the new folder and then click Git Bash here. On Windows 11 systems, this appears after clicking Show More Options. If done correctly, a spooky command window will appear. We are now going to copy and paste the following command, which I've put in the description of the video, into the window. For some reason, Ctrl+C does not work with Git, so let's just right-click and copy into the window. A new folder should appear into the folder. Open the folder and scroll down to a file called webuiuser.bat and click on it. Grab a drink or text your mother while it installs all the requirements to run. But seriously, it can take a long time to install the requirements depending on your internet connection. Okay, all done? That took a while, didn't it? We're almost there. Do you see what looks to be a web link in the command window? Copy it and paste it into the browser of your choice. This is a local host, so it's not actually connected to the internet, just running through your browser. You can now generate images using Stable Diffusion, but we're still a few steps away before we're ready to generate the latest in Balenciaga fashion. Let's test it out by writing something into the positive prompts window. I want to see a cat on a table. Now let's enter some negative prompts, things I don't want to see, like bad quality, bad anatomy and bad hands, etc. Now let's hit the big orange generate button and see if everything is working. Oh my gosh, look at that cat. Now let's close down the web UI and the command prompt again to prepare for the next step. In order to generate the latest fashion, we need the latest models, and to get them working in Automatic 1111, we need to do some small tweaks. We're going to right-click and click Edit on the web user UI bat so we can add some command line arguments when next we launch Automatic 1111. I will paste the command line arguments into the description of the video so you can follow along. Note that if you are not using an NVIDIA GPU for whatever reason, do not use xformers. AMD cards are a whole other mess, and there are specific guides on the GitHub page. Once you have copied the arguments as I have, save the document and we will move on to the next step. Prepare yourself to see a lot of anime, Agent. We are going to a website called Civit AI, where we can download almost any Stable Diffusion model we can think of. Wow, that is a lot of anime. But the model we are here for is called rmada. I find it works best for creating fashionable scenes and closest resembles the images we can generate in Midjourney. Download the model like this. As a side note, be cautious when downloading models that aren't in the Safe Tensors format, as while it's rare, they can be used to execute arbitrary code on your machine. Next, in the description of this model, there are links to 2 other files called textual inversions. They will be necessary later on to help us achieve better realism in our image generation. Download them as well. Now take the model called rmada, which you just downloaded, and paste it into the following directory. Models, Stable Diffusion. Very good, Agent. Now we will take the 2 textual inversion files you downloaded and move them into the file within your Stable Diffusion WebUI folder called Embeddings. Textual inversions are useful for gathering complicated prompts and simplifying them down into easy terms. Now for the fun part, we're going to use ChatGPT to generate prompts for our characters. I am using GPT-4 in this version, but GPT 3.5 should work just as well. I will paste my prompts in the video description for you to follow along. Type the following. Give me the 10 most popular Warcraft 3 characters. Just the names. Now, let's get GPT into character and paste the following. Now, act as a Balenciaga fashion designer with 20 years of experience. I want you to dress each of these 10 characters in a unique Balenciaga piece that reflects their character for a runway show. Just write the name of the character in the piece. Remember, it's a 1990 fashion show. Now finally, we paste this prompt into the window and let GPT do its work. Okay, now this is a prompt that I use to generate images from another AI image generation tool called Stable Diffusion. Each idea should be separated by a comma, and the importance of each idea is indicated by surrounding each idea with brackets or square brackets. Brackets having more weight and square brackets having less weight. I will leave the importance of each idea up to your discretion. Please take into account their known physical characteristics of these characters and include them in the prompt you generate and have their clothing reflect their characters. Feel free to be creative. 1990 screen grab, female model. Character, wearing a grotesque Balenciaga puffer jacket. Fashion movie scene, Balenciaga commercial. Just say why if you understand. Now you see here that ChatGPT took the prompt a little too literally and made all the prompts female. GPT is flexible, so don't be afraid to go off script and correct and nudge the AI to produce the prompts you want. Finally, it's time to take those prompts and use them to generate our characters. The first step is to make sure we are using the correct model. At the top left of the UI, use the pull-down menu to select rmada if it does not appear. Hit the blue refresh button beside the menu and see if it appears. Now paste one of the prompts that ChatGPT generated, in this case Arthas, into the Positive Prompts tab. To access the textual inversions we downloaded, click on the book icon under the Generate button and click on the Textual Inversions tab. If nothing appears, hit refresh. It does this a lot for some reason. Click the buttons like so, and they will appear in your negative prompts window. Now let's hit generate and watch. Who TF is that? Let's play with some settings to get the images to generate along the lines we want them. I will up my sampling steps to 40 and change my sampler to the one here. Sampler is often a matter of choice. I will also change the resolution of my images to generate an 960 by 540. This increases the chance of accidentally generating strange results, but makes it easier to upscale later. This Arthas is oozing with drip. Let's upscale him to a higher resolution. Click on Send to image to image. Now, let's type in the resolution we want to upscale to, in this case, 1920 by 1080. I will also lower the denoising strength so the upscaled image does not deviate too far from the original. If you would like to change the image during upscale, set the denoise strength higher. Hit Generate and go. Depending on your GPU strength and speed, this could take some time to upscale. Uncanny and weird, exactly the look we were going for. Now, let's go back to the tab labeled Text to Image. It's rare that you will get a perfect image on your first try, so it helps to generate images in a batch. You can up the batch size here and sit back while it generates candidates to be upscaled. Very nice, very Balenciaga. Feel free to tweak and play around with the prompt to get the exact look you want. In this case, I gave him sunglasses. Here's the hard part. To get the voices we need to use a website called 11 Labs. Free users can generate voices using the default voices up to a certain limit, but to clone the voices of other characters, you will need to spend money. At the time of writing this video, it is $1 for the first month with 30,000 voice credits. Unfortunately, 11 Labs is the best, no arguments, and there is no free alternative that I am aware of. We can find voice clips of the characters you want to clone on YouTube. Elder Scrolls is particularly easy, as there are millions of Elder Scrolls AI voice memes floating around. Just use one of the many YouTube to MP3 websites available to get the voice into an MP3 format and clone it like I've done here. Select the voice you cloned and type the script. Now let's listen.
This entire H&M store must be purged.
Not quite right.
This entire H&M store must be purged.
Much better, let's download it. We're going to use a website called DID to animate the faces. You get 20 free credits upon signing up, and that should be more than enough to make your first video. Choose the image you want to animate and upload it. Now in the top right, choose Upload Your Own Voice and select the voice file you downloaded from 11 Labs. Now press Create Video and your video will be automatically created.
This entire H&M store must be purged.
Perfection. Now to get the classic head bob, featured in every other video, we will use the Type Your Script option and select the Wait button as many times as you see fit. Generate the video as normal. Deliciously uncanny. Finally, download the videos. We're going to use a software called CapCut to edit the videos together. Drag the videos you downloaded into the editor and place them on the timeline.
This entire H&M store must be purged.
Add some keyframes like so, and zoom and pan the video to give the images a more dynamic look. Next, go to the Transitions tab and add a flash effect to give the illusion of a photo shoot. There are also camera sound effects in CapCut for you to use. Lastly, for the classic Balenciaga meme music, we will use a track called Light Vessel by Thiptrong. It can be found on Epidemic Music's website. If you want to avoid copyright infringement, you will need to pay for the rights to use this song, but hey, there are other alternatives out there. And there you have it, Agent. You are now ready to make your own video. Good luck out there.